Welcome to Chik, the podcast where the girl with many titles talks about life, the good and the bad, and everything around it. We're going to sit, chat, share life stories and experiences, from business to relationship. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Chik podcast. Today I am joined by Snejana. Hiya.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, I'm all right, thanks. So if anyone is new here, and obviously, Snejana, you've not been on before, we start with our challenge of the week or tip of the week. We then go into, in the middle, we ask how you are, how you're really doing, and then we end with our win of the week. So this will very much, I suppose, so for those people that don't know, Snejana is a part of CFM, so we do this as part of CFM anyway, so there isn't anything that's completely new, but I guess the reason I wanted to, I just touched my screen there, I don't know what it's done. But anyway, the reason I wanted to have you on was because I wanted to talk about kind of manifestation and mindset, and there's just a lot of stuff that I very much feel like from whenever you talk about this type of stuff, I resonate a lot with it. And I think to be able to talk about this, not only is it like being part of your life, but also how like it's got us together. I went on TikTok and was like, I've gone down the traditional route. Not one person has impressed me enough that I'd want to work with them. So let me use social media. I love TikTok. I'm sure I can find someone on TikTok. And what's happened, if anything, I think it's you, Adesola, and Shantae have all come from TikTok. And then Lascelle was through Jonah. Pia was through someone else that I used to work with before. And Jonah was through a family friend. So there's no one in CFM that I feel like it's very much a team that I couldn't have manifested this any better if I tried. And I think having that kind of vision and the positivity, I think that's also helped. So yeah, tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into, I suppose, being a part of CFM and what you do now.
Yeah, so I'm Snejana. I'm part of CFM, so I've got my job through TikTok. So it's funny to think back. I spoke with one of my friends. I just messaged her on Instagram. She sent me a post of like a marketing agency, and I've just messaged her without thinking anything about it. And I was like, oh, I want to be like part of like a marketing agency, but I didn't have anything to do whatsoever with marketing, social media. Like I love doing it, but I didn't like try to find some jobs.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, I opened my TikTok. It was you, like your face was there. You didn't, the video didn't have any, I think it was like 5 or 10 likes, so it was like pretty new.
Yeah.
So I was like opening TikTok. I saw her face. I was like, she's looking for like some like a marketing agency role. I was like, okay, let me just shoot my shot and message you. So I just messaged you without thinking anything. I was like, okay, let's just see how it goes. We are here now. I think it's like 2 months. Is it 2 months? Like, yeah,
A bit longer now.
I think it's longer. Oh yeah, I think was it June, July?
Yeah, I think it was the end of June. God, that was like 4 months going on to that's a lot.
Yeah, so that's how I got my job here. So I'm working in social media marketing. I'm also a criminology student. I know the contrast is huge from criminology and social media, but it's something that I'm really passionate about, like social media, creating content. I'm also traveling. So whenever I'm traveling, I'm uploading videos on TikTok, photos on Instagram. For my TikTok, I try to raise awareness that you can travel by yourself without anyone else to go with you. And once you're comfortable in your like just being by yourself, eating in a restaurant by yourself, working by yourself, you can do anything. You can travel anywhere in the world without needing anyone to be there with you. So
I think that's what I loved about, like, obviously from when you messaged, anyone that messaged, I stalked them on socials anyway to see, like, what do you put on? But I loved that straight away I was like, not only are you young, you're a young woman that's already just doing her own thing. and you were doing it in a way where I could look at that and go, this is something I want to do more of. Like I've done the solo dates, I've traveled on my own around the Northern Ireland and England. That's where I'm comfortable. But it's only now, next week, that I'll be going to, which by the time this comes out, I think I'll have just come back. I'll be going to Barcelona for my first solo trip, which I'll be staying with a friend and I'll still be like seeing someone that I know. But it's my first trip somewhere that I'm not familiar on my own. And don't get me wrong, like I'm a bit nervous, but I also like the fact that because it's something that have that's aligned. I find that when it comes to CFM and anything that we discuss, when you're giving someone tips for like what we're doing work wise, we're also giving each other like life tips. And even like, so we did tell us about the tarot reading that you did, because all of this stuff is the stuff that to me has inspired me to keep pushing myself to do the things that make me uncomfortable. And I'm loving it so far.
Oh yeah, but the tarot, I'm also really interested in everything, like all the tools, like spiritual tools, astrology, tarot reading,
Yeah.
like all of the like meditation, yoga, everything. And we did a tarot reading a few weeks ago, and all messages like just resonated with everyone on the team. And that's why I love it, because it just they're like some cards with like a few images, but the intention that goes through doing all the tarot reading is like amazing. Everyone just get their like the answers their souls needs to hear. So
Yeah.
that's so good. Like seeing everyone faces so like oh,
Yeah.
that was really really good. So that's why and how I'm using the tarot. Just if I need a message, I'm just okay, let's see what the message is. Or even with the cards, we did like some metaphoric cards
Yeah.
where it's like an image and a message, so it also resonated with everyone. So that's like an easy accessible tool you can have in your drawer and just okay,
Yeah.
let's see it. So that's
Yeah.
really
It's so true because my friend got me my set of tarot cards and she said that so she was into it. We used to do them whilst we lived together, and then she was like, "Oh, you're not supposed to buy your own, so I'll get you some." And then G got me some for my birthday last year. And like you're saying, the other day, so I was talking to you last week before the was it the full moon, new moon? I get confused with these. Or was it an
a
eclipse? It was one of them.
moon. Eclipse now. We are now in the corridor of the eclipse. So it's going to
Oh,
be, I think, till 28, 26, something like that of October.
oh,
So,
okay. Right, so I'll
yeah.
come back and ask you about that in a second because
Okay.
you were saying to me it was Friday the 13th, and you were like, yeah, maybe don't pull out some cards today. But I did them the next day and it made me laugh because so G's always been very like skeptical for that type of stuff. But I always say that to me, like I believe in a bit of everything. I believe in spirituality, I believe in God, I believe it. I think why can't they coexist? And why can't I find comfort of the stuff that like I need? Because I look at tarot cards and just think that like you're saying it's the message that your soul needs. So it's not that like your life's gone to crap and it's going to stay crap. It's things could be happening and it's just giving you a warning. But I've noticed that G's got really into them because he's been the same. I'll like pull them out and I'll start reading them and he'll be like, that's weirdly spot on. And there'll be stuff I know as well where I'm like, I know where he is in life. And it's so odd. So I did some, I've not done anything for like me and him recently, but I did my own at the weekend. And I keep pulling out similar cards, but these are similar cards to the ones that we pulled out within CFM where it's like, stick to your guns, enjoy the little things, keep pushing yourself out of your comfort zone because it's all going to work out. And I'm like, I keep getting the same message over and over again, but not only did I get the message within like you doing my tarot, doing the group like CFM one, but then when I did it on my own, I also got similar ones the last time I did a tarot on my own. So it freaks me out because sometimes I'm like, is this just doubling down and saying like the same, like just keep going, you're fine? Or like, how do you not overthink it?
So from my experience, all if you get the same message like over and over again, like I'm doing it now and it's like all about self-care. I'm doing it like I'm doing a card next week. It's all about self-care, that and so on. You just know that you have lots of work to do in that area of your life.
Yeah,
So like even for self-care, I just got a message today. Okay, self-care. So I'm not gonna be able to do everything in like 1 week. So next week it's gonna be the same message because I didn't fulfill my like the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it's for a while. So just imagine you getting a message now. So it's gonna be for like for you the next 2 months or like 3 months. So you just need to keep going and doing the thing that you got from the message. It's not gonna be like, okay, I've done self-care for like one day, so the next day it's gonna be like another message. So you just need to keep pushing yourself and keep doing it. So just make a routine. For example, for like self-care, I'm gonna do it like every Tuesday or like every Wednesday for
Yeah.
like a longer period. So after you do like for 2 or 3 months, you'll see that the message might be anything else. So you
Yeah.
start implementing that in your life as well. So it's not gonna be like new messages every day. It might be like new message like every couple of weeks, but if it's the same message, just don't overthink it and just like start doing it in your life, and you'll see like a difference not only with your how you're gonna feel, but with your
Yeah.
mental health as well, because you'll know that there's gonna be something that you're looking at, like to improve yourself, to keep
Yeah.
doing it. So you'll have like a sort of a routine thing.
Do you know what? That's crazy as well because do you know, like, I'm gonna do the how are you actually doing now because you talked about like the mental health side of it, and I've noticed that, like you said, the more that I focus on it, so one, I need to obviously do a little bit more of like treating myself and doing those little things and pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. But in the last few weeks, I'd say obviously booked the flights to go to Barcelona. That's all sorted now. It's great. I'm gonna be in England and seeing family anyway, so that's good as well. But then I started the 30-day challenge for like to make extra money on social media, but also to teach people like what we're doing in terms of content creation. And that's something in the past I've done it once before on TikTok, but I've never done it on Instagram. And Instagram, I actually started it on TikTok before I posted on Instagram, and then I was like, no, you need to also do this because if anything, Instagram was the one that scared me the most, but it's where I normally get the best return. So, and funnily enough, I feel like there are certain things that are starting to happen at the moment where I'm like, I'm going to look back at this period and go, like that was such a transformative time. And I'll ask you about like the eclipse in a second. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is in terms of like how I'm actually doing, I think the past few weeks, because I'm obviously it's a new transition in terms of like my life, it's a new age, it's a new decade, a whole new like period of life, and a period
Yeah.
of life where I guess when I was younger I used to think, oh, I'll be married by 24. I'll have I'll have and be having my first kid at that age. I'll be doing all this stuff. Whereas now I'm like, I want to keep putting it off, but I also don't. So I guess mentally I was struggling a little bit just because I think in my mind, life didn't look the way that I used to think it was going to look. And I guess I've had to grieve a little bit of the past, not even in like a bad way. I don't want that, like that. I'm happy with where I am, but I think just coming to terms with the fact that like life is the way it is now. Like you turn on the TV and you see things like Palestine, and it's so depressing. But it's in trying to find like I don't want to ignore the horrible things that are going on in the world, but I now sit there and think, what little thing can I do today to make my little world better and the people around me smile a little bit more or have a little bit of hope. So I guess the clarity that I'm getting in doing all of this type of stuff and like changing that mindset is in the fact that like you've said, the more I'm forcing myself to do those things, it's also helping me mentally because I've noticed that the past few days I've slept better. I've noticed, like, even though it's been like I've forced myself to do uncomfortable things, my mind's shutting off. Like, I've now put in Tuesdays, I'm completely off the grid from the team. It's like self care. Had my first day yesterday where I was like, what am I doing? I need to do something. And for the first few hours, I did create a couple of TikToks and I did a little bit, but I didn't check emails. I only communicate with Shantae. And Fridays will also be a day where like I just focus on then the business. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to see kind of how I feel in the next few weeks in the next month because again, seasonal depression, being on your period, all of these things. Obviously, it's a part of life, but yeah, I think I was just struggling because all of that was happening all at once and it just felt very intense.
Hmm. Yeah, that's completely like I feel like all of us in some point of our lives are feeling a bit like down, and with everything that's going on in the world, it's just
Yeah,
so you can't just open like a TikTok without seeing anything
yeah,
happening. How like I'm trying not to like look really deep into
Yeah,
that because it really can affect your mental health.
yeah,
So I'm trying to stay a bit like away, but when you go on TikTok, it's everything about that. On Instagram as well, I'm trying not to listen to news or like
yeah.
watch the news. I haven't been doing it for like the past few years,
Same.
which some of my friends are like, "Oh, have you seen what's happening? Have you seen what's?" I'm like, I'm not. Just what
Yeah,
happened?" But they just fill me in. But like I'm trying to remain educated with like all
yeah,
everything that's happening in the world, but in the same time trying not to let it affect my mental health.
yeah,
Um, but I think now it's such like a weird, like a tense period with like everything that's happening in like like the eclipse, the new moon, the full moon, everything that's going on. It's so deep
yeah,
because with the eclipse, it's all about beginnings, all about endings, like wars, like the everything that's happening in the world right now. It's gonna be everything about transformation.
yeah,
Like everything that's old, all the old energies are gonna die. Lots of people will feel I'm feeling like I'm in a astrological thing now. We're doing the astrological podcast. Lots of people will feel ill, like headaches, they can't sleep. So it's like the energy is really, really, really tense and deep for everyone right now. Um, and also I think the relationships, how we look at the relationship is gonna affect every one of us.
yeah,
So I know that people who are like in long relationships, they're gonna face some problems. So it's really up to them how they sort everything out. So you need to just be present and just feel everything that's happening in the world and even with you, and you just ask yourself questions. How you are you really feeling?
yeah,
Is this thing that's aligned with your purpose? Just do more like groundwork and try to, if something is not fulfilling your life, just let it go.
yeah,
That's what the eclipses are for, just for like endings and beginnings. So everywhere is like an ending, there's gonna be a beginning,
yeah.
and where's a beginning is gonna be an ending. So why it's like to stick with old things that's not fulfilling your life and just like bringing you down more and more, when you can bring new stuff in your life, like new, amazing, exciting opportunities and things that's gonna fulfill you more and make you more happy than you are now.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And now is that, so how are you actually doing?
I don't know, like I'm hearing everyone, oh, I'm feeling ill, I've got headaches, I can't sleep. But for me, I'm feeling good for
That's
like
good.
some weird reasons. Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm working a lot of myself, my like doing lots of
Yeah,
shadow work, working with like everything that's like fear of everything, that because
yeah,
like everyone has something that we're afraid of.
yeah,
I think most people can't sleep, but I'm sleeping like a baby. I'm sleeping so good. I don't know, I can't relate to anyone who says, oh, I can't sleep, because I'm part of like a, a group of like women, different persons who are doing astrology, different spirituality things. So all of them are, oh, I can't sleep. I've got like nightmares. So I had this period, but I was it like a few months ago. So
yeah,
I overcome it. And now I'm sleeping so good and I'm feeling really good as well. I'm trying to focus more on the positives, even though life is not always full of
yeah,
positive things. We can even I'll talk about it later about the negative things in the life. But
yeah,
I'm trying to do more like self-care, treat myself. Yesterday I went shopping. Like it was so unexpected. I just
yeah,
went there to look for like some autumn, winter clothes. And
yeah,
I came home with like 3 bags of different clothes and like shoes. And I was like, okay, I treated myself today. Last week I went to Italy.
yeah.
Um, and I bought that like a bag. I'm like obsessed with like bags.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I looked at it and I saw the price. It was like 120. I was like, oh my God, do I really need it? And then I was like, I asked myself, do I deserve it or not? I was like, okay, yeah, I deserve it, so why
Yeah,
not buy it? So I just bought it. So I'm just trying to get more into the routine of like treating myself more.
yeah,
Taking care of my body, of my mental health, like journaling. I love journaling. I've been doing it for the past 2, 3 years. And I've
yeah,
got like so many journals there. And I like every time I feel like, okay, I need to write it down. I'm just like doing it. Books, I love reading. But mostly books that like development, like
yeah,
I'm not really into like romance. I was it before when I was like 16, 17, but
yeah. That's
now
me.
I'm just like grown out of it. Um, and I feel like if I try to stick to something that I love, I'm gonna feel much better,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna create more things that's gonna make me and the people around me happy.
yeah. Do you know what? That's so true because even I guess because we work together, not only like I might not know every little thing that you're doing to like help yourself and do all that, but even from the conversations we have, I've got enough of a gist. But I can also see it in the quality of work and like you said,
Mm,
you came into this never have working in never having worked in an agency, and this agency is not like any other business. Like it's very much I've always said like I want CFM to be built around us. So
mm,
it makes me happy then when I see that okay, like you talk about doing a bit of self-care and wanting to focus on more positive things. But then I look at that and I'm like, okay, you've done CFM's content for a month, you've done Keelan's content for a month, like you're so ahead, like you're so on the ball, like you're taking feedback on and it's not like you're taking it personally because again, my thing is we've got such a small team and we've kept the clients the way that we have right now before going out and getting anyone else because whilst we're comfortable, learn all the good things. But in I think what I love is to be able to see you growing in CFM, us growing alongside you, but also you growing in a personal life way, like you're doing things that inspire the rest of the team. Because you've talked about reading. Adesola loves reading. Shantae loves reading. I'm not the best reader. I want to go back to journaling more, but again, it's one of those things that I say to myself, I'm not going to force myself if I'm not feeling it. I
yeah.
do go through periods where I do it quite a lot, but when you can kind of like piggyback off that energy, we might be a virtual team and we might all be around the world, but I think that we still swap energies, and that energy that we swap to me feels positive because I think that, like, I joke and say that I think I'm a bit of an empath, but to the point where I can tell how you are by how you text. I can tell
Mm.
by an email, like, I can see when something's off, and I might not be able to say it there and then I'd be like, oh, like, are you okay? What's going on? Like, oh, sorry, thank you. Uh, G was just coming with a cup of tea. But yeah, like I was talking to you guys when we had our team meeting about a client, and I know that the client's off, but I can't just say to them, I know something's wrong. Tell me all about it because they also have to be ready to say that something's up. So, yeah, for me, it's so interesting seeing how you kind of like juggle everything, how it works, but works then as part of a team. Like, how have you found it then, like integrating like your way of thinking into CFM? Because obviously, not all of the team thinks the way that we do, and we don't think exactly the same.
I think for me, like a huge part is like being organized. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that I'm so organized until I started working in
Yeah,
CFM. I love everything like to write everything down, like my to-do list, even though we have like system in like online system where we have
yeah,
our tasks. I love writing it down.
same.
So for me, it's so amazing when I've done a task and I'm like just ticking it off or
Yeah,
like yeah, I just feel so great. Also like calendar, it's so important to be organized and everything in the like a schedule. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do that, like at that
yeah,
time. I'm having meetings, so it's not like you need to focus like all of your day and time on work.
yeah,
Just take parts of it and okay, I'm gonna go tennis, I'm gonna go Pilates,
yeah,
I'm gonna go shopping. I'll just keep a few days, go traveling. So I'm trying like squeeze up in so many things that makes me happy.
yeah,
So even though I have a full schedule, I'm not feeling at the end of the day, I'm not feeling tired because
yeah,
everything I've done is something that makes me happy and excited for life.
yeah,
Um, even like I love the flexibility in CFM that you can travel. and work from there. So since I've started working in CFM, I think I've been like in 3 countries. I think I was like Croatia, Prague, and now I'm in Italy. So this is like amazing because you can just take your laptop and work from everywhere in the world. So that's really like a great thing. So because I think we forget that we need to treat ourselves
Yeah.
and we need to focus all about the whole day to work. I know there are some people, like most people are working 9 to 5 and they
Yeah.
don't really have time for themselves. But whenever you have a bit of time, just take it and enjoy just by yourself without anyone else, without your kids, with your partner. Because sometimes when you are surrounded by lots of people, you just forget about you. And it's really good to stay with like your thoughts and just like
Yeah.
it's like a meditation, a kind of meditation when you spend time with yourself. Just take yourself to like a walk. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be long, just half an hour walk to like the supermarket and back, or
Yeah.
like um cook something for yourself and just like watch a movie, do something that makes not only yourself but your like your inner child happy,
Yeah.
because the most important thing,
Yeah.
if you keep your inner child happy, you're gonna feel happy, so
So
why not do
true.
that? Yeah.
So true. And do you know what? When I was in therapy, I started talking to my inner child because, like you were saying, when you sit and you ask yourself, "How am I really doing?" and so on. I had to work out like if I was upset about something, where was that coming from? Because, like I was saying, even now I've not been feeling great mentally. I am in a really good place in life where like I sit and cry because I'm so happy because like look at the business that I've built, look at the team that I've got, look at the partner that I've got. There are so many positives that makes me so overwhelmed with joy. But yeah, like you're saying, like even just knowing, for me it's important to know where those needs are coming from. Is this my inner child? Is this adult me? Is it like, even with like, I'm happy with G, me and G can sit in silence, but I do sometimes just need 10-15 minutes just sat in the room on my own, just so I, like whenever we come back from anywhere, because I think whenever we go anywhere, even if it's with family, there's so much energy that I just need a bit of time to, and I've noticed my brother does this as well, just sit. And I might just go and close the bathroom. I might not even be using the toilet. I might just be in there and just 10 minutes. I might scroll through TikTok. I might just do nothing. And then I just feel like this weird bit of energy come back to me. Sometimes I'll just sit on the bed, put a bit of music on. I've even been like choosing specific bits of music that I think, rather than it being like negative stuff, it's
Mhm.
stuff that's going to calm my soul and like feed like the right parts of me. But like you touched on, like not focusing on the negative things, and I guess I was too excited and got and like jumped straight into this, and we didn't talk about like your challenge of the week and like if you've got any tips or anything like that. So I guess one, how do you handle negative situations and not like allow them to drag you down? And two, do you currently have a challenge at the moment that you are trying to like get through? And yeah, is there anything else that you want to talk about in that regard?
I don't think I've got a challenge of the week, but in regards to the negative things, like life can't just be happy, pink, like unicorns and like sweets and stuff. Sometimes we have like hard moments, but for me, what it works, if I have like a bad period of my life, I'm just taking the day off. I'm just like, if I have to cry, I'm just crying. Like,
Yeah,
it's not good to suppress your emotions
yeah,
because it's going to build like more and more and more. So just let it down. So
yeah,
just like take a day off, cry all day if you want. Um, just take the day off for yourself and just cry, let it out. And then I'm just going back to normal.
yeah,
Life is always changing, and if we are trying to control it, we'll we'll never be able to fully live the life.
yeah,
So instead of living life, we'll be like always afraid of it. So instead, we need to like decide, like in our mind, we'll be like, okay, we need to fight with life, but it's not
yeah,
like that. We need to face the fear, the
yeah,
past fight with life. So let's say if we don't solve the problem, so like the root cause of the problem, but instead we kind of like attempt to protect ourselves from the problem, it
yeah,
just ends up running our life. So we end up so psychologically fixated on the problem
yeah,
that we can't see the, I don't know, we won't be able to see the forest of the trees. We won't be able to see
Yeah.
the big and like the exciting things that's gonna happen in our life. So just like see what the problem is, because sometimes we are not aware of what's happening and why are we feeling like this, why are we feeling sad. So we just need to go like really deep in our mind and search for the right answer.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've also realized is as you grow spiritually, like more and more we'll realize we have like attempts to protect ourselves from the
Yeah.
problems that from our problems, but this actually creates more and more and more
Yeah.
problems. So if we attempt to arrange people or like things or like any sort of things in our life that so they don't disturb us, it will begin to feel like life is against us.
Yeah.
So we're gonna like fight us. So life is like a threat in our mind. So that's why we always have these dialogues in our head, in our mind, inside our mind, like figure, okay, I need to stop this disturbing me, like this or like that people, like the things, the person. So we are in that moment we're fighting with creation.
Yeah.
Life is a creation. So I think what I've realized is the alternative thing is to stop fighting with life, because you need to realize and accept life as it is.
Yeah.
So we can't really change it,
Yeah.
but we cannot change life, but we can change our focus
Yeah.
and how to see. Because I think there was like a quote, like some sentences where your attention goes, energy flows, so the other way around.
Yeah.
So if we focus on bad and negative stuff, more bad and negative stuff is gonna
Yeah.
come in our life. But instead, just focus on the good and positive thing that's happening. So I know there's like many people suffering with different problems, different things are happening in their lives, but it's really how they look at it and how they try to solve it. Because
Yeah.
I remember I was like 3 years ago. I was like 17, and I didn't know what to do because I felt like social anxiety, depression. I was like I had panic attacks. I was in college back
Yeah.
then. I felt so isolated. I couldn't speak with anyone. It was like I don't know. I just that moment was the period that I understood what other people are going through,
Yeah.
and for me, like my brain liked the feeling. So it was like in the comfort zone. So it didn't
Yeah.
want to go and try something else. It didn't want to go out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for me. It was like a battle inside myself that
Yeah.
I need to fight it um to like try like to go out more and like stop having these panic attacks and like
Yeah.
anxiety and start talking with people. I was so afraid. It was during the pandemic as well, where like everything felt like really isolated. We
Yeah.
were like masks in college. Everyone was like kept the distance. It was really like it was a weird time.
Yeah.
Um, my mind, like my brain was. I like it here. I want to
Yeah.
stay like for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Why should I change it if I'm in my comfort in like in my bubble
Yeah.
with like feeling safe and comfortable. So like one time I just decided to push myself
Yeah.
and kind of like work out my fears and everything I
Yeah.
have inside me, and my brain like work with my brain so it goes like out of the like comfort zone and start experiencing more and more
Yeah.
things. That was the period when I started getting more into like spirituality, like astrology and all this like crystals, books. So this really helped me. But some like I know lots of people confuse it, like being spiritual, like being, oh my God, I'm so happy, I'm meditating all the time, I don't have any problems in my life. My life is like full of laughter and good things happening. But it's not like that. You are just more aware of what's
Yeah.
happening around you, and you are more aware of where your energy goes
Yeah.
and your thinking. Because before I used to think like really like negative things,
Yeah.
that negative things are like becoming reality.
Yeah,
So that's why it's so important to just think, like just imagine, okay, what future me wants to
yeah,
experience. So okay, she wants to be happy, she wants to be she wants to have a car, she wants to have
yeah,
a job. So okay, just instead of focusing your energy on like the bad things, oh, I don't have money, I don't have a car, I don't have a
yeah,
job, I don't have a house, just focus your energy. Okay, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna become like rich, I'm gonna have a job, I'm gonna work hard to have it, and I'm gonna like have a list of goals where I'm
yeah,
gonna achieve them. So that's why it's so important to focus your energy and your time to the positive part instead of the negative part.
yeah,
So once you like sometimes like you can find yourself thinking of like the negative part as well, but just let it be for like a second and then
yeah.
like direct your attention to the positive things,
I
and
love
then you'll see
that one.
a change. You'll see
Yeah,
a change.
it's so true. And we've only got a few minutes, so do you know, I'm gonna like mix in my win of the week with what you've just
Mm,
been talking about,
yeah.
because I think you've made me realize that my win of the week, especially taking that day off yesterday where I did nothing, it made me reflect a lot on like where I am mentally as well. And I've noticed that everything, like I resonate with everything you said, from like being in college and the social anxiety and so on, because I used to suppress, I didn't realize I suppressed emotions, but I was in fight or flight for so long that I didn't have time to just feel. Whereas then it overspilled and I couldn't even leave the house because I was so anxious. Then the anxiety attack started and all these other things. But I'm at a point now where even when there are things that make me feel sad and I know that I'm in like a bit of a depressive state, I'm still thinking about all the positive things and the things that, like, I don't know what I thought about the other day, but it was something so small. But I was like, I'm so grateful. And you know, when you sit there, and it could have been like, let's say I've got like a notebook where I put all my ideas in. It was something that small, and I was like, look at me focusing on like, because these tiny little things, like you said, your subconscious takes in so much that you don't realize. So yeah, my win of the week is that I am really enjoying, like, I'm finding gratitude in the little things. Like, what would you say yours is?
I feel- about it, I remember when I was in Italy, I just like used to walk around, like I went to Lake Como, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for everything. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for this view. I'm so grateful for this ice cream. I'm so grateful for this
Yeah,
drink. So I kept saying it, like being grateful for like the smallest things. Even it can be like, oh, I'm grateful for this pen because it just
yeah,
makes me read all my write all my to-do lists and all my
yeah,
like in my journal. So being grateful is such a huge part of my life, and I
yeah,
think if there's one thing that anyone can learn from me is like being grateful for even for anything, because let's say you're grateful for your bed. It's
yeah,
like the smallest thing, but it's have such a big, a huge importance in your life.
yeah,
So for me, it's being grateful as well, and taking time off for self-care
yeah,
and doing things that I really enjoy doing. But
yeah,
yeah, also one thing, I've got like less than a minute, but one
yeah,
thing about grateful is like when you are grateful in your mind, it's just like so many emotions, like
yeah,
happy emotions
yeah.
and more energy, and you feel like so happy when you're like grateful for the smallest thing ever.
It's so true. And I know it's going to cut off, so I'm going to say thank you and send you a message after. But thank you so much for coming on. I think we'll definitely do a part two of this, because I think there's a lot of stuff that we've touched on that in general we can always talk about. But yeah, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for being on. And everyone keep liking, subscribing as you always